construction time again. What is it this time? We're laying a pipeline.
So welcome to another episode of Electronic Cafe Celebrates, and in this particular episode we're looking at one of the greatest bands of all time, Depeche Mode and Construction Time Again, another album that's 40 years old. I remember buying it on release date and it seems like yesterday. This was the third studio album by the band. It was released on the 22nd of August in '83. It was the band's first proper album to feature Alan Wilder as a member, and he wrote the songs 2 Minute Warning and The Landscape is Changing. The album's title comes from the second line of the first track, Pipeline. It was also recorded at the fabulous John Foxx's Garden Studios in London and was supported by huge Construction Time Again too, which I remember going to. Remember it vividly, actually. On the album's politically inclined lyrics, Anne Lambert of Number One wrote, this is about Martin actually, protest songs are serious and sharply observed, but they retain that distinctive ear for a commercial melody. She concluded, it's impossible to pick out tracks as the whole effect of that album is sharp, tight, smooth and absolutely riveting. And then, God, smash hits. This is taking me back. Peter Martin notes that the band's attention is now turned outwards to the world and all its problems, pointing out the Russian, European, Oriental influences apparent in the music. He went on that the songs are still electronically based, but brilliantly melodic and bouncy edges contrasted by the brooding sort of tin drum type sparseness. Martin himself summed up the album by saying it was a big, brave departure for the band.
Another big change in sound from its predecessor, A Broken Frame, the previous year. A harder, more industrial sounding album as they began to get heavily involved in the early sampling technology, along with Martin Gore listening to more industrial music, coupled with a transition in the lyrics now becoming much more political. Between A Broken Frame and Construction Time Again, Depeche Mode released a standalone non-album single, Get the Balance Right, which was the first single to feature new member Alan Wilder as a Depeche Mode member. Nonetheless, Construction Time Again contains two further hit singles, Everything Counts and Loving Itself.
For me, it's one of their best pieces of work. It still sounds great. And of course, you know, they're an amazing band. And I know there's loads of talk about, you know, Synth Ultra, if they're not as good, but they're still an incredible band. Can't wait to see the new album. But in the meantime, if you haven't heard Construction Time Again, check it out, celebrate it. You know, it's an incredible piece of work by an incredible band.
No sympathy, you're good enough to hate. 2 minutes later, when time has come, my days are numbered. The turning point of a career, in Korea, being insincere. The holiday was fun packed. Still intact. Grabbing hands, grab all they can, all for themselves. All of the thirst and the definite loss that lay in store for me. There was a time when all on my mind was love. Thousands of acres. Forest are dying. Carbon copies from the hills above the forest line.